we can't help but think that something went terribly wrong here tonight.
We're looking at one of our own sitting here and going, how do you talk to a guy about this? It sucks, man. I don't like being in this position.
You and me both.
Detectives are currently sitting across from their brother-in-arms and suspected murderer, Officer Kenneth Blue. Kenneth has just been brought in after finding a woman dead on this rural Michigan road in the middle of nowhere, a victim that was no stranger to him.
I saw her laying on the ground. Hey, we got a body. And at that point I went, oh, I know this girl.
Because for months, Kenneth had been involved in a secret affair with 32-year-old Jennifer Webb, and to hide it, he would do anything. As detectives now grapple with the fact that one of their own is a psychotic murderer.
She's got some other injuries, Ken. Maybe it's just coincidence, but you've got some injuries too. You know where you're sitting. You know how all this stuff works.
It's just before midnight on August 30th, 2011, and for officers Kenneth Blue and Tim Patterson of the Buena Vista Township, New Jersey Police, the start of a very long shift. Because while patrolling a quiet road near their own department's gun ranch, something out of place catches Officer Ken's eye. A Pontiac Aztek parked on the side of the road, one door eerily hanging open. As he approaches, he finds a horrific sight. 32-year-old Jennifer Webb, who appears to have taken her own life. He calls Officer Patterson to the scene, and her driver's license, purse, and cell phone are all found nearby, as well as a typed note explaining why she allegedly did what she did. And while there's currently no reason to suspect foul play, that's all about to change. Because when an autopsy is performed, investigators learn that Jennifer didn't take her own life. She was strangled. And someone took their time to delicately rearrange the crime scene in an effort to throw cops off their trail. So with a clear-cut murder on their hands, investigators start looking into Jennifer's final hours, including digital breadcrumbs from the cell phone she left behind. And what they find not only leads to a prime suspect, but to a shocking scandal the likes of which this small-town department's never seen. Because one rather unusual name keeps popping up in Jennifer's call log, Ken Cop Boo, and when detectives trace the number, it returns as one of their own, Kenneth Blue, the very officer who found Jennifer's body. So as investigators speak with Jennifer's friends and family, they confirm what the call log hinted. Jennifer had been having an affair with the married father and cop, and not only that, she was expecting. Now, as Kenneth's brought in for questioning, this case isn't just about finding a murder suspect. It's about figuring out if a fellow officer, one sworn to uphold the law, and one they trusted with their own lives, is a stone-cold killer.
Basically, can you kind of run down, just tell me what happened tonight? What's going on here?
I was conducting general patrol. I'd been up in the area of the North Number Streets. We call it North Number Streets. It's area north of Wadsworth. Been in there a little bit, patrolling around. I sat at 81 and Outer for a while, working on radar. And then there's a neighborhood to the north of 81. In north of 81, west of Outer. Well, neighborhood back in there. I went back in there and kind of drove. We're just general patrol. Come out onto Outer Drive, went north, took a pass through the businesses on Freeway Lane, and then come out and went north again up to where we have our range. As I started to pull up, I saw the vehicle sitting there. I hit it with my spotlight real quick to see if I could see heads moving or popping up. Sometimes we get parkers up there and whatnot. I didn't see anybody move, so I went up, I turned, and then I turned back or turned around. It goes, Outer Drive ends, you guys were up there. There's that little drive there that leads to our range, and then that drive over there that leads over to the wastewater treatment plant. So I go up, turn around so that I can get a better angle on the car. So I drive in behind the car, focus the spotlight, and about that time, Tim's pulling up. So, we kind of looked at him, he kind of looked at me and said, what do you think? He says, oh no. So he started walking up from where he was at, because he was still on Outer Drive. He was walking up towards the passenger side of the car, and I started to walk kind of towards the driver's side corner. And as I got closer, I saw the door open, the back driver's door was open. Took a few more steps, and I saw her laying on the ground. cord running to the top of the car. Oh my gosh. I yelled at Tim real quick. I said, hey, we got a body. Well, I took a step back. He come around the corner. He come around the car. He took a look. Oh shit. So away we went. We started doing our thing. Purse was laying there. So pulled the purse out to ID the driver. And as I did, when I set the purse on the hood, the first thing I see was a folded up piece of paper. Like, okay. So I unfolded the paper and I read it. It was an obvious, and it was signed Jenny. It was all typed out. There was no writing on it, no ink on it. It was just all typed. Set that aside, went through the purse, found the wallet, opened the wallet up, went through the wallet, found the ID. And at that point I went, oh shit, I know this girl. So I stepped away. I looked at Tim. I said, I know this girl. I said, I know her. So I kind of just stepped back at that point and let everybody else take and do what they needed to do. Sean showed up, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Ken's story is as simple as it gets, maybe a little too simple. Because while he makes it sound like he removed himself from the scene after realizing he knew Jennifer, he'd actually already involved himself plenty. And while his fellow officers may suspect he knows more than he's letting on, it'll take far more work to break down their experienced colleague and get to the truth. Before that, if you love watching killers like him realize they aren't winning an Oscar, subscribe. It's literally all we do here.
Did you guys check for vitals? Was it, I mean, why not?
I don't know. I guess probably not to disturb. Well, I mean, there was no movement, and when I looked, there was, from a distance, there didn't appear to be any chest rise. It wasn't giving me the impression that it was, that she was alive. So
At that point, Sean knew that you knew her, right?
yes, when Sean arrived, I told him that I knew her.
Did you know her family? Tell me about how you knew her.
I met her, from 10 years ago.
Okay.
When I first started out here, just in my normal duties, we would do bar checks, and she used to frequent the Backstreet Bar over in Holland. I got to know the waitresses and the people over there. She was in there. We got introduced. We just talked. Started up a casual friendship and been touch and go ever since. We talked for a while, and then we kind of do our own thing and go our separate ways. And out of the blue, she'll call me or I'll call her. And, hey, what's going on?
Was she working there, or was she just a patron?
Just a patron.
Okay.
She knew most of the people that worked there.
How often did you talk to her?
It varied. It could be, sometimes it was once or twice a day. Other times it was once or twice a week.
Okay. And over the last 10 years?
Oh, it was on and off. There was quite a while where we didn't talk at all. She was doing her own thing and I was doing mine. And, like I said, it wasn't anything that we just, that we had to talk to each other every day or anything like that.
Was she married, have kids, anything like that?
She was not married, but she was pregnant.
Boyfriend?
Not one she spoke of.
When was the last time you talked to her?
She called actually last night. She called me. Didn't leave a message. Didn't leave a message. She leave a message? Yeah, she did. She left a message to say, hey, what's up? Give me a call when you can. Something like that. And I called her back, I don't know, sometime around 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. And I didn't get an answer from her.
Did you leave her voicemail or anything?
No.
Did she call you back?
No.
What was her mood or demeanor last time you talked to her?
Not normal. Usually she was a pretty happy, jovial person. She just, I don't know, said she was tired, wasn't feeling good. But just uncharacteristic for her. Usually when we talk, she's just, bouncing off the walls. Yeah, this is going on and that's going on and yada, yada, yada. But it's been, and it's been like that for a few months now. When she talks, just something different about her. I guess I just chalked it up to, the stress of getting broken into and being back with her parents or in her parents' house or whatever, and, being pregnant. My wife was pregnant, many years ago. She was moody too, so I guess I just kind of let it go with that.
Okay. So, I wasn't clear. When was the last time you actually talked to her?
Yesterday. Would have been the day before yesterday now, but
Today's now Wednesday.
it would have been,
During the day Tuesday?
no, would have been, I think, Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. I chatted with her briefly on Monday.
She call you, you call her.
Don't remember.
If it sounds like Ken's being cagey about his relationship with Jennifer, that's because he is. Because while there's nothing wrong with friendships between men and women, the idea that this married cop has had one lasting 10 years with no one else knowing about it is strange, to say the least. And why does he seemingly struggle to remember when he last heard from her, if it was the day before yesterday, just hours before her death?
When's the last time you actually saw her in person?
It's been a while. Three weeks or so, maybe.
Okay. And what was the context there?
She was on her way back from somewhere. She was out with some of her friends, I guess, or something or other, and called to see if I was working, and I said, yeah. And she said, hey, let's see you for a minute. So we met, talked for a few minutes, and she went home.
Okay. How often did you guys see each other personally?
As far as like when I'm not working personally or
Anytime.
in person?
Yeah, in person.
As of recently, actually maybe once, twice a month.
Okay.
Maybe three times a month.
What's recent? I mean,
Within the last few months or so.
okay. Do you notice any change in her?
No, like I said, she didn't seem the same person that I remembered her being. She seemed more stressed, tired all the time.
Ken tries his best to keep things vague, but his veiled allusions to Jennifer's allegedly frail mental state have one purpose: to convince detectives he has nothing to do with her death. And there's something else he wants them to think he knows nothing about, something that had already complicated his life for months, and now seriously complicates his present.
What did she tell you about the pregnancy?
Not a whole lot. Next year, usually the first question is, hey, how you feeling? How's it going? Everything good with, with you and the baby? That kind of stuff. It's none of my business. So, I didn't want to pry into her personal life that much. So I just, whatever she volunteered to tell me is what she told me, and usually it wasn't much.
But everything seemed to be going okay with it.
As far as her health was, yeah.
What'd she tell you about baby's daddy?
She didn't. Never said anything about it. Said I wasn't aware that she was dating anybody, but Yeah.
Is that something she would have told you?
No, not really. Whenever I would ask her, hey, how are things going? I pretty much got the answer. Baby's healthy and I'm doing good. And she kind of left it at that. Not typical for her. Like I said, she was usually a bubbly, outgoing person, talked all the time about anything and everything. And it just, I don't know, it just seemed different. She was just more reserved.
I'm trying to figure out what would cause her to do this. I mean, it sounds like she was a pretty happy person. Sounds like she was comfortable with pregnancy, and sounds like she was employed. You didn't notice any big changes in her, right? Any thoughts on that?
No. I mean, when I read seemed to me that there was more there that she was letting out. At least, when she would talk to me, it just seemed like there was more that she was dealing with than what she told me.
Do you remember what she was talking about in some of the things that she was talking about? I don't have it here from.
It talked about the robberies, it talked about the pregnancy, it talked about being sorry. I can't recite it for you, but it talked about being a failure and something about lying to people.
What would she be lying about?
I don't know.
The obvious question is, did you have a relationship with her, or is this just something where you guys were just friends?
A physical relationship, no.
Okay. You mentioned your wife. Are you currently married now?
Right.
Okay. One of my concerns is obviously we got to talk to you and Tim because it was brought up that you knew this gal.
Right.
And I've got some questions. When you come up and you see the vehicle and stuff, and there's a lot of vehicles like that, I guess. I understand that. Sounds like you knew her pretty well. Well enough to recognize her.
Okay.
And it just, you hear the plate, you get the note out, you see the name on it, and then you see her ID. What were you thinking? What was going through your head?
Well, as I'm starting to hear all of this stuff, I'm going, the first thing that went through my head is, can't be. And as I'm doing that, I'm going through her bill folder or whatever it was. There's her ID, and I went, shit, it is. Got a body, Tim. And, he came over and took a look. Until I started going around doing all this other stuff, the pieces started falling in line. I said, she's, got a bunch of stickers on the back of her car. I didn't see those at the time I first pulled up on the car.
The contacts you had with her, is that the vehicle she normally drove?
Usually.
Does she have any other vehicle?
I don't know.
Are you aware of any other vehicles?
When I've seen her, it's always been in that one.
It's always been in that vehicle when you've seen it, okay. You say stickers on the car, what?
Like on the back, just.
Oh, like bumper stickers and
Yeah.
stuff displayed on it? Okay.
But like I said, it's like I told, I said, when I pulled up on the car, I was looking inside for bodies. I wasn't looking at the outside of the car for decorations.
Yeah, that just doesn't sit right with me either. And I don't mean to sound like I'm just thinking, how would you not recognize her? It's just odd.
Suddenly, this conversation goes from simple questions to some not-so-subtle claims that Ken's lying his pants off. He's already admitted to knowing Jennifer for a decade after all, so claiming he didn't recognize her or her car defies belief. But he also knows being a cop comes with certain perks, like claiming ignorance because of something called cop mode, which is ironic considering the basic protocol he broke while handling the note.
Just kind of go into cop mode at that point. It's just, okay, what do I got to do? Start running through your head. What are the things that need to be done? Once I started going around the car and, pieces started to fall into, place, it was like, I'm thinking to myself, it can't be. It can't be. How, I mean, when I see her, she's got her hair done, you know, I mean, all of that, you know, I don't see her in a disheveled state, so.
What's going on with your eye there? I'm not gonna get pink eye, am I?
No. I was wrestling. I got a pup at home that's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old. I was wrestling around with her, and she got me with one of her claws.
Oh, before I forget, that note that you found,
Mm-hmm.
was that protected for prints?
As far as I may have touched it, the corner of it, when I picked it up and handed it to Sean. I don't know if I had gloves on.
Picked it up from,
The car.
oh, you said you had it on the hood of the car?
Yeah, I'd taken it out of her purse or off the top of her purse, unfolded it, and laid it on the hood of the car.
No, when you got it at her purse out and stuff, would you have had gloves on then?
Yeah, I had gloves on then.
Okay,
But when I took it to Sean, I don't think I had gloves on.
okay. Did anybody else handle it? Did Tim handle it at all? He touched the note?
I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I think you might have.
It seems that Ken's cop mode failed him, because every officer knows you don't handle evidence without gloves, especially a note which may have been typed for the sole purpose of concealing the handwriting. But if Ken's fingerprints do turn up on it, he has an easy explanation. He's a cop just doing his job. And with a badge, gun, and the backing of an entire department, it seems no one thinks twice. But these detectives aren't from Ken's department, and that's about to spell serious trouble. Because as detectives take a bathroom break, and Ken tells them where to go,
There's one right around the corner to your left. Go through the door, in between the double doors.
what happens next has never before been seen in a police interrogation. Ken simply walks out the door to say hi to some coworkers who have no idea their colleague is under suspicion of murder.
Talking to you guys.
Work last night?
Yep.
But now, as detectives return to the room, their questions become far more pointed and downright impossible for Ken to answer without giving himself away.
Just sitting here listening through all of this, I got some questions that I can't help but come to the forefront. Jennifer's baby, who was the father of that child?
I have no idea.
Is there a chance that you're the father of that child, Ken?
None. None. Never slept with her.
You've never had a relationship with her?
No.
Is there any reason that she would have told people that you were the father of that child?
Not that I know.
She has.
Come again.
She has told people that you're the father of that child. Her family was well aware of who the father of that child was. Didn't know you personally, but was well aware of what your name was, where you worked, what you did, and everything.
Wow.
No possibility of that?
None.
I mean, that's real easy for us to determine, obviously. You know, and now's the time to get that out if there is. I mean, stuff like that happens. We all know that. We're all big boys in this room. We all know that stuff like that happens. But yeah, that's a concern that I've got is
I don't know why
her family knew she was expecting, obviously. Apparently due very soon,
I think
3
she
4
was
weeks.
expecting.
Yeah, and they were was apparently no questions at all about it. They were fully aware. Ken Blue, police officer, Buena Vista Township Police Department, was the father of the child. They didn't know much about you. They never met you. But they were fully aware that you were the father of the child. By name, occupation, where you worked, and everything, Ken.
Wow. Well, that would explain why we're doing this. I'm not the father of the child. I have never known.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, like I said, that's one of the big questions that comes up. Ken, if you are in this room between the three of us, we need to know that. Obviously, as this investigation goes on, we will be able to determine who the father of that child is. And you know, as well as we know, when you're doing an investigation, if somebody lies to you about some insignificant or rather insignificant issue, you got to ask the question about why. You know, why would that happen? Why did that happen? So it may be a little bit uncomfortable, it may be a little embarrassing or whatever, but are we going to make that determination? Is it going to be determined in our investigation? I mean, we will determine who the father of the child is. And when that's all said and done, is the answer that we get from our labs going to say it's Ken Blue too?
I don't think so. I haven't or something.
Well, you don't think so, or you do that? I mean, you know or you don't. I mean, there's one way that a child is conceived, and that's right. I know that. Okay. Absolutely no way possible that you could be the father of the child.
Correct.
Ken, it's also our information that this morning there was quite a period of time that nobody could get a hold of you, or last night rather.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get you on the radio. They different ways through the MDT and through different ways they couldn't get a hold of you. Couldn't get any response.
About 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, we talked like I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but we don't have the records on that yet. But there was apparently some period of time nobody could get a hold of you. Another thing, Ken, I guess that I'm really having an issue with, and I can't understand how you could have driven down there, you could have seen this vehicle of a girl that you've known for about 10 years, that the only time you've ever met her, that's the vehicle she's been in, that she's been driving. You end up parking, you get out on foot, and you see her laying there. You see her, you describe to us well enough to know that she's already deceased. There's no reason to do any life-saving measures, because you can tell her, I think in your words, her lips were purple, or no rise and fall in her chest, or whatever. But yet you still don't know who she is. That doesn't make sense to me.
You're talking about a matter of minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, from what you've described in your context with her, I guess I would have thought when you drove down Outer Drive and you saw there's Jennifer's vehicle, I would have think in the headlights you'd have noticed that when you were back a ways.
I mean, that's a common vehicle.
You've met with her at different places. Has there ever been a time that you've met Jennifer down there at the end of Outer Drive? Never have been down there. Always has been in a parking lot someplace.
Public area.
She was from the city, Kim. It was better in a public spot. Why would she go down there? How would she even know that existed down there?
Don't know that either.
Why would she have told her family tonight that she was going to meet Ken?
I have no idea.
She specifically, they knew.
She called me.
They were expecting her home before anybody contacted them because she was late. But early in the evening, they knew where she went.
I don't know. I mean, she called me. I haven't spoken to her at all today.
She called you and left you a voicemail.
Correct. I returned her call and did not leave her a voicemail.
And she didn't answer.
No.
So her phone will show your call back to her as a missed call.
Should.
It doesn't. It shows an answered call. Don't show as a missed call. You know how phone you go through the phones and there's received and there's sent and there's missed, and your call to her was a received call.
And now, just like that, things aren't going Ken's way. Because while he may have tried his best to stage the scene, there's a few crucial facts he can't fake, like call logs showing he and Jennifer spoke shortly before her death, and the promise of a paternity test that will no doubt prove he was the father.
Why would she have told family that she was going to meet you this evening?
I don't know.
And then the two of you end up down there?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
It's just weird.
I agree with you. But I guess now, I guess her letter makes a little more sense, but.
Her what?
Her letter.
What do you mean?
About the married man part.
Oh, and the
She was
note.
talking, yeah, she was talking about me.
Okay.
I have no idea why she would say something
I
like
don't
that.
think she named you. Where's your uniform you were wearing when you worked?
So, her.
Can we have that before you go?
We have to cover all bases here, Ken, and, some of that, we'll go back and we gotta look at some things. We just wanna make sure that we don't get any surprises.
Fair enough.
And you know the deal.
And I think you can understand why some of the questions that I asked them,
I just-
some things look a little unusual.
I completely understand that. I guess I don't like feeling like a suspect, but
I mean, you're first on scene at this car where this gal's never been before, that you're aware of, probably has never been before in her life, doesn't even know where it's at. It's not a dispatch call, you just happen upon it because you happen to be in the area and you happen to know her and you happen to be the first one on the scene.
no. Sure. I mean, I get it, guys. I mean,
And there was a period there that, people couldn't get a hold of you. And then we have this situation with the family who knows who you are, knows you as the father of their soon-to-be grandchild.
I have no idea who her family is.
She's supposed to meet with you tonight.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea why. I don't know why she would have said that. Unless she said, hey, I'm going to call him. I don't know. I mean, I know she called me.
Yeah, they did straight up with it. They knew she was going to you,
And then
and they knew you by name and occupation and where you worked to be the father, as Jason said, the father of their grandchild that's soon to be.
I have no idea why she would say that.
then we look at this note that you found that's typed. And you know what that means as a former detective. Doesn't mean much, does it?
No.
And it doesn't fit right, especially with how many females you ever know that hang themselves.
I hear you.
Ken, we can't help but think that something went terribly wrong here. There was a discussion, there was a conversation, and it just got out of hand for whatever reason, and something was terribly wrong here.
I can tell you that it didn't happen. Something went terribly wrong with her. I was no part of it.
The detectives present their case to Ken, and its strong circumstantial evidence points to only one thing. If he isn't responsible for Jennifer's death, then he knows far more about it than he's letting on. Because while he may claim the two never had a relationship, her family would beg to differ. And while only time will tell if Ken is the father, hiding a potential love child from your spouse is a motive for murder as old as time. And detectives have a lot more evidence to dig through before this thing is over.
Ken, we're gonna have to go through the whole thing. Cell phone records, text records, email accounts, computers. We'll get video from all the places you were patrolling tonight, and that'll help us establish a timeline, which will be good. We'll get the dispatch records and figure out where you were and when. Do you have an AVL in your car?
What the hell's an AVL?
Okay, apparently not.
It's a little thing the chief puts in so he knows, he can always tell where you were and when you were there.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
So these things, I'm just telling you, and you I'm sure know this. They're not going to be a surprise to you. Those are things that we got to do. But again, it comes back to don't let us get surprised here.
Yeah.
Because
if there's something that we are going to find, it would benefit all three of us here to know that right now. I mean, now is the time to deal with some of those embarrassing things. Now is the time to deal with some of those surprises if we can. Get them
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
What you got is what I got.
She ever talked to you about being abused by anybody? She ever talked about being in a car accident or anything like that? She's got some other injuries, Ken.
Yes, sir.
And again, maybe it's just coincidence, but you've got some injuries too that you have no witnesses for. the biggest thing is, just tell the truth.
I know.
Regardless of anything else, just tell the truth. I'm sure you've told other people that. Because the truth will always manifest itself in one way or another at some time or another.
That's correct.
Okay, so just make sure there's nothing that we don't need to know now. We're not going to try and pull all the tricks on you and all that shit. It doesn't do us any good. You know where you're sitting. You know how all this stuff works. So that's a call you're going to have to make. Okay, we're not going to try and do Yoda Jedi mind trick bullshit. You know that it'd be foolish for us to, because you're going to see right through it. You use those same tricks yourself.
Well, you guys are doing it now, so.
Yeah, to some degree, it's hard not to. You get in the habit.
Right.
After 20-some years, but I think that should tell you something about us too, in that obviously you can tell that we're pretty uncomfortable about that, because as cops, we're thinking one thing. As police officers, and a guy that, I don't know how much Al's worked with you, but I met you years ago. Don't really remember you, but I know I never had a bad impression. You certainly don't have a bad reputation around here, around this county, around this city. So, here, a guy like me and Al struggling with this right now, because we're looking at one of our own sitting here. How do you talk to a guy about this? And I'm sure you saw it coming, but.
Well, once I realized I knew her, and okay, bring it on. It's going to happen, so.
Did you ever tell her that you'd help her financially with the child?
I told her if I could, I would. I knew she was struggling. She's not making a lot at whatever job she was doing. She wasn't making a lot. So, if a friend came to you and asked you, hey, I need some help. That's kind of was the impression that I was getting. Is that, if she needed help, I would help her.
You're willing to help this gal out that you just know from talking to once in a while?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a friend of mine. What do you?
But a friend, it's a close enough friend that you want to help her out with money, but you don't recognize her car or her body laying there in the grass. How'd you feel when you realized who it was?
I about threw up. It made me sick to my stomach. I had to walk away at that point. I was just like, oh my God, this is somebody that I know. And it's not somebody that just because I've worked out here for 14 years that I know, it's somebody that I know personally. You walk into your friend's house and you find your friend, laying on the floor dead of a gunshot. It's one of those, oh my God.
Sure, but I think I would recognize my friend laying on the floor with a gunshot.
Ken's defense, or what little of one he has, is falling apart before our very eyes. Because the more detectives nail him on the details, like why he didn't recognize Jennifer, the less sense his story makes. And while everyone should help their friends, Ken's offer to financially support the mom-to-be doesn't only seem strange, but downright suspicious. But what did Ken's wife think of this allegedly platonic friendship? And what does she think now that Jennifer's been murdered?
What do you think your wife would say about this relationship you've had with Jenny?
She knows.
She knows.
She knows that I talked to her. She knows that we're friends. Obviously there are rules and there are boundaries. She has male friends that she speaks with, and I have female friends that I speak with. It's not like, it's not a secret there. She knows.
Okay.
She knows specifically about Jennifer, or she just knows you got friends?
No, she knows her name.
Oh, okay.
You think this is?
I don't have anything else to think.
What do you think I ought to do here, Ken? What would you do?
Do your job. It's got to be investigated. There's any way around it.
Yeah. And it's just, painting that picture, I'm sure you would agree, shit is just, quite frankly. And it doesn't look real good. So I have to, not just, from the criminal investigation side, but I want to make sure that you're square too. if that's the case. As long as you tell me the truth, all this stuff will check out and we'll be fine. And it's covering you too. You know that.
Yeah.
But again, man, don't put us in a position where something bites us.
Right. Hey, I'm with you.
Because it won't be just us. I mean, it'll be everybody at this department, be everybody in Saginaw area that you work with.
Right.
It'll be smacking them in the face. So it's,
Tell me about it.
I mean, it's shitty enough for anybody, but especially when it's somebody you know.
Yeah. And then, I know it has to happen. It's just, sitting here going through this and, feeling like I'm the one, being accused of doing something to her.
Yeah. And I don't want to go that far to actually say those words. You know that, because it's not comfortable for me.
Right, but it's there.
With all that shit that we just talked about, man, it just things. Things. There's no other way to say it. And it sucks, man. I don't like being in this position.
You and me both.
But I can appreciate that, because I don't know how I would feel if I was in your shoes right now. I feel for it. I do. I lay there in bed tonight going, I cannot sleep.
The idea that one of their own may be responsible for a woman's death clearly weighs heavy on detectives. And while Ken's kept what he knows close to his chest, his options are dwindling fast. So after taking photos of Ken's injuries,
All right, Ken, let's try this again.
he finally admits that the nature of his relationship with Jennifer was far more intimate than just friends.
I can tell you one thing, guys. I did, in fact, sleep with her. It was a while ago. I can't say that she ever told me that her baby, or this baby was mine.
How long ago was it? Was the timing right that it could be?
I don't know. I mean, it was.
It's our understanding from what we've been told that she's about 8 months pregnant. Puts us back around the first of the year, January-ish.
Guess I never looked at the math on it. Yeah, I suppose it could be. I suppose it could be about that time. So, if this baby is mine. Wow. No, I guess I just didn't come out with it in the beginning because, my wife.
We understand that, Ken. We understand that. I think I told you before, that's a very sensitive situation, and we understand that. And you said earlier that your wife was aware of your friendship with Jennifer. Was she aware of it?
No, she wasn't. Many years ago, I had an affair that we worked through. And, things have been, much better. And I don't know, it was one of those things where it just kind of happened. And as cliche as it sounds, that's kind of what happened. I don't remember,
Where was that?
that was on my personal time.
At her house? Or? Okay.
We met at the park. I don't know. I don't think it did. It didn't seem like it did when I removed it. But who knows?
The bigger problem is, big deal, you slept with her. Okay. The bigger problem is now, what am I supposed to believe?
Now it looks like I killed her. And all I can tell you is I didn't. I didn't have anything to do with it.
But again, don't let something come up and bite us like it just did. Because this was an easy part. That part is uncomfortable. I don't want to say easy because it was uncomfortable, but it's small potatoes. But if there's something else that we need to know, now's the time.
You got it. I mean, you know, have I been in her trunk? Yep, been in her trunk. Told you that. Yeah. Have we had? No. Is it my baby? I don't know. Don't tell me that. From that point on, everything you guys, what happened?
Is there gonna be anything on your uniform, on your clothes, that's gonna mean anything, one way or the other in this? Is she gonna have any other unusual injuries that need to be explained?
Al, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Let me see her arm again. You know what that looks like? If I were to grab you with my fingernails, what would I leave? Is there any possibility that her fingernails are going to have any DNA underneath them?
That's all right, I know. I mean,
Well,
I wasn't there.
okay, all right. I just, those red marks, they look like they could be finger marks. And that's one of the things that autopsy they're going to do is scrape all of her nails and check all of that stuff. It's just, Ken, that, I told you before, my hope is, you and I have now worked together a lot. We've had some association. It's always been good. I hope this association ends up good. I truly do. But we've got to do our job. We've got to do a thorough investigation on this. We've got to answer just as many questions as we can answer about this. And I hope it all ends up good, but we're going to dot all of the I's and cross all the T's as we go through this. So, yeah, there's really not much of anything that we can't try real hard to deal with if we know about it up front, if we know about it ahead of time.
I understand.
Like Jason said, the issue about you having slept with her is, in the scope of possibilities here, pretty minor.
It's one of those things that if we get out in front of it, we can make it a non-issue. But if it's something that comes up that shows deception, then it just casts bad light on everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't truthful. I'm sorry.
Is there anything else we've talked about that you haven't been truthful about? If at some point in this investigation we felt that it was necessary to have you take a polygraph related to some additional issues, would you be willing to do that? What would that show us?
Hopefully that I'm telling you the truth.
Did you meet her tonight down at the end of Outer Drive?
Nope.
Did you have a phone conversation with her tonight and agree to meet somewhere?
We attempted to have a full conversation.
Is it possible you are the father of that child?
I slept with her, so yeah, it's probably possible.
As it turns out, Ken being the father was not only possible, it was a fact, as was the airtight evidence proving he was the one who killed Jennifer Webb. Because not only did cell phone records show multiple calls between the two around the time of her death, Ken's DNA and fingerprints were found on her clothing and vehicle. Kenneth Twyman Blue was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, other charges due to the assault, and felony firearm possession. He was found guilty and given a mandatory sentence of life without parole. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to our channel. 80% of everyone watching isn't, and your support would help us more than you realize. It's free, and it keeps this channel alive. You can also check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.